Good morning, bonjour. Can you hear me in the back? Yes? Please be silent then. Great. Well, first of all, Prime Minister De Wever, beste Bart, congratulations to you and the entire team for hosting this first ever Brussels European Defence Exhibition. Theo, also to you and all the others being involved here, this is a huge event. I'm very excited to be here. Because this is, first of all, a great opportunity for the defence industry in Belgium, across Europe, North America and also the rest of the world to get together, to build ties and also to showcase all the innovations going on. I'm also excited to see the capabilities and the technologies here at BEDEX and to meet the people behind them. Your work is essential. It is essential for our security and of course that's why I'm here today, because this is my job. The world is more dangerous. So what we are doing at the moment all over Europe and in the United States and in Canada, we are prioritizing defense. NATO allies are committed to investing 5% of their GDP on defense by 2035, because this is about our security, but not only about our security. Through our security, this is about freedom and it is about our prosperity. Belgium is stepping up. And again, I want to thank Bart and Theo for their incredible leadership on this. With extra defense investment, we can buy the capabilities our militaries need to keep us safe. And there are so many men and women in uniform, and I also want to salute them for what they are doing in their jobs, day in, day out, keeping us safe. But of course, they can only do that if you, the defense industry, make this possible. Because the men and women in uniform need your output. So please make sure you produce what they need. And I can tell you, yes, we need a lot more capabilities. And that's why it is essential that industry, and this is on both sides of the Atlantic, not only in Europe. You have seen President Trump meeting with the big companies, the big defense industrial companies in the United States, also putting pressure on them to produce more, to innovate faster, to speed up. And the same is necessary in Europe and Canada, across the Atlantic. This is truly a transatlantic defense industrial base. And we all need to accelerate production. I can tell you, to those here from the defense industry, the demand is there. And now the supply needs to be there too. And that is, of course, largely in your hands. When I look around this incredible exhibition, I see the best industries, the most innovative technologies, and I see incredible creative people. We are unmatched as NATO, unmatched as an alliance in our industrial strength and innovation power. And I'm absolutely confident that we can succeed together and we will succeed together. And to be clear, that's good for your businesses. It's good for our economies because it will add to the overall economic growth, the so-called defense dividend. And of course, first of all, it is good for our security, not only now, but also going forward, our security in the future. So again, congratulations, and I wish you every success, everybody here at this incredible exhibition. Thank you, and we'll meet each other later today. Thanks.
Gentlemen, thank you for being with us. As requested by you, we will feed this debate with questions from the audience. But first, let me start with a very short question. Secretary General, NATO's deterrence now depends as much on industrial capacity as on military capacity. This room brings together leaders from across the world from defense industrial companies. What are the key messages that you would like to give them and that you would like to share with them today?
Well, thank you so much for hosting and for organizing this. And before I answer the question, let me just say that I'm proud of what Belgium is doing under the leadership of Bart de Wever and Theo Franke. Indeed, Belgium is back in the money spent, reaching the 2% last year and now working on a credible path to the 3.5. This event shows that the defense industrial base in Belgium is strong and that it is growing, and I think that's extremely important. We have seen the Shadow Fleet ship, now I think 2 weeks ago, Theo, when you basically made sure that that ship was captured and brought to the port of Antwerp. Zeebrugge, it's there, and I think that was an extremely important thing because the French started this debate. How as Europe can we do more when it comes to the shadow fleets, which is such an important source of income, and then Belgium really following that and now taking that leadership role is important. So yes, Belgium is back, taking a leadership role, and I think that's extremely important. To your question, what we need for the defense industry, please be ready. That means we need you to invest in your supply chain, invest in extra shifts, invest in extra factories. The demand is there. Tens, hundreds of billions of euros and dollars coming in extra. Started basically last year, and that will ramp up over the coming years. So for you as free market enterprises, there is a huge opportunity, so be ready. Secondly, work faster, because we need your output. You see how quickly we can go through our stockpiles. Look at the Middle East, look at Ukraine, and we have to replenish. We have to replenish with the latest innovation, the latest technologies at speed. And 3, work together. I'm really impressed also in this event to see so many companies working in Belgium, but also from Belgium with companies all over Europe, with the United States, big US companies investing in Belgium, in Europe. And I think it shows you that the transatlantic industrial base really underpins the alliance, and it is an integral part. You are an integral part of our deterrence and defense. Money is one thing. The men and women in uniform are crucial. But without the equipment, they cannot fight. And our adversaries know that. So they need to know that we have a strong defense industrial base. So thank you for what you are doing. Again, be ready, speed up when it comes to the pace, and work together.
Okay, thank you very much. Minister Franke, you've been very clear about the importance of strengthening Belgian industrial base. What can and what do you do as Minister of Defense?
Trying to support everything. Everybody, hello. We're trying to support our industry. We're having this for the first time, an exhibition with a lot of people, a lot of companies. I think that one of the key elements is networking, knowing each other, knowing our SMEs also, because Belgium is a country with a lot of SMEs. We don't have big flagships when you talk about defense industry. We have Evan Herstal, we have John Cockerill, we have maybe 3, 4, maybe 5, but we're not a big country, so we don't have the same amount of big companies like Germany or like France. But we have a tradition, and we have a tradition for hundreds of years of armament, of investing in defense industry, of good and strong defense companies. But they were sleeping more because it was unethical to invest in defense 5 years ago. When you have a new project as an entrepreneur and you go to a bank or to a European Investment Bank and you say, I want to invest in building a drone who is also dual use for maybe also military capabilities, then the bank says, you cannot have a grant, you cannot have money, because we don't do that. So we come a long way. It was really difficult periods. Now defense is hot, defense industry is hot, and the most important is that when everybody is awake, we need to organize exhibitions, organize fora where people can meet, where entrepreneurs can mingle, entrepreneurs can network, and trying to have more defense industry coming out. Tomorrow we have the first Belgian-German Defense Industry Day here at BEREX. We did the first Defense French Industry Day. We have that as well. We're doing this with the Baltics. We're going to do this with the Netherlands. So it is very important that we need to know each other, to start knowing each other even more. And for the moment, we have 80 companies in Belgium in defense industry. And in 5 years, I want to double it. We need 160, 200 companies in Belgium in 4 or 5 years in defense industry. And that is a challenge, but we're working on it very well. Of course, we have more budget, so we can have more contracts. We're going really hard. I'm pushing really hard for economic return. I'm not the easiest client. For example, on the Camo project with the French, I demand and I said we need to have more economic return for Belgium. I'm doing the same for the American programs. We need more economic returns. We cannot just sign a contract and have all the jobs in France, have all the jobs in the States. We need jobs here. It's a lot of money. It's taxpayers' money. It's not my money. It's not the money of defense. It's the money of the taxpayers of Belgium. So we need also economic return. And that we can have by creating jobs in our defense industry. So we're working really hard, and this is a success. I was pretty nervous this morning, but Mark calmed me down, so I'm very happy now. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think the message is clear, the target is clear. We want to have more companies that produce at a faster speed. Maybe, and I'm looking at the timekeeper, we still have a couple of minutes. So if there are questions from the audience, please, but please keep your question short and make sure that your question ends with a question mark.
Question, how does strategic autonomy link into a growing dependency on other powers, such as the US, for example?
Well, I think it is about the interdependency. We all need each other. Look at the American President Trump. He was hosting the 5 big US companies last Friday, and they agreed to quadruple their production because he is really driving in the US that defense industrial base. But all these companies, and some of them are here, like Lockheed Martin, RTX, these companies working cross-Atlantic. We have in Turkey about 3,000 defense industrial companies who work across Europe and with the United States. We have Belgium, and Belgium has the convening power, like this meeting, this huge event, PEDEX. But also when it comes to its defense industrial base and its innovative power. So it's all transatlantic. So I think we have to be conscious of the fact, yes, when you invest in defense, it is important that there is also a return to your own economy. And I totally understand what Theo is driving there when he spends more. Hey, he also wants an impact on his own economy. That's only fair. But at the same time, let's not forget to keep 1 billion people safe. Putin and others have to know we have the men and women in uniform, we have the money, but we also have you with the defense industrial output which surpasses what the Russians and others can produce. And that's crucial. So I think we all need each other. And there is so much money floating around. There is enough for the US, enough for Europe, for Canada, working together, leveraging each other, including having companies like Thales investing in the US, companies like RTX and Lockheed Martin being active in Europe, and so many other. These are only 3 examples, but there are tens, hundreds of those examples, how we work together. So thinking we can look at the US industrial base separate from the European, I think is old school. We really have to do it together. Interdependency, speed, and be ready.
I think that strategic autonomy is very important. That's key. But for me, it doesn't mean that we need to push out the Americans or the Canadians or the Turkish people or the people from Norway or UK. Yes, we need to do more with the European Union. We need to do more, and we need to step up on conventional defense. We need to spend more. We need to invest more. We have to be more. The efficiency has to really step up because we have too many companies. The prices are way too high. We're not efficient. Everybody's protecting their own industries, and that makes the price totally going crazy. So yes, we need more European defense integration. Yes, we need more European production. Yes, we need to buy the same equipment in Europe, all the same, then the prices go down. Of course, it's just very logical market, how the market works. So, but then again, Belgium is founding father of NATO. We're founding father of the European Union. We have NATO institutions. We have the Czech-gen living here in Brussels. But we have European institutions as well. Mr. Kobilius is coming in a minute. So I think it's very important to invest in both. For me, it is not our NATO, our European Union. No, we need to have NATO for the total defense of the North Atlantic region. really important because we're fighting for the same values. And it's not dependent on who is the president in the United States. We're fighting for the same values. Let me be very clear on that. And then we need to also step up in Europe so we can be more operational on strategic autonomy, with strategic autonomy for operations. I don't want always to call to Washington to help us out. I don't want that. And they don't want us to call all the time because they have a lot of other problems. So yes, when it's really messy, then we will call each other and help each other. But sometimes we don't have always to call to daddy to help us out. So I think that we need to step up, doing it ourselves. When it's possible, we're doing it ourselves. When it's getting totally out of hand, we always can call Washington, and we're doing this together to defend ourselves and to defend our values, our people.
Okay, maybe one short question.
Hi, thank you very much. My name is Olga Kirillova. I'm a journalist with Ukrainian Telegraph. I have a question that I'm really happy to see Ukrainian producers of weapons during this exhibition and conference. So we see that Ukraine is playing a more crucial role now, and even Ukrainian specialists are going to Middle East on the US request to help to counter drones. So my question is about Ukraine's role in the overall transatlantic security architect. How do you see it? Thank you.
I mean, it is a vital look indeed, because of this totally unprovoked war of aggression of Russia against your country. You had to defend yourself, and you are defending yourself, and I commend you for that, my respect. But you also had to innovate, and you are now one of the countries with the most knowledge and experience when it comes to drone technology, anti-drone technology, but also so much more. Every day I get reports of what you guys are doing in terms of innovation and what is now happening in the Middle East. The fact that President Zelensky said, I will send Ukrainian teams to the Middle East, to Gulf countries, to help them when it comes to drone technology and anti-drone technology, I think is testimony of that. And what we're also seeing is that European countries are investing in the defense industrial base in Ukraine. There is still an untapped potential of 10 to 15 billion. So a lot is being done, but still there is room for more. And of course, what you are doing, fighting the Russians and keeping your country safe, means indeed that you are on the forefront of innovation. So thank you for doing everything you're doing. And we have to make sure you stay strong in the fight. That means when it comes to interceptors for Russian missiles, when it comes to other key and crucial defense industrial gear, we have to support you. And the US plays a big role here, paid for by Canadians and Europeans. And we have also to keep that going.
Yes, I think there were always believers in Ukraine, in the strength of Ukrainian people, and non-believers. Also within European Union. Within the whole of the world, but also in European Union, you had believers. Ukraine can do this. Are people that said, no, Ukraine, it's impossible. They don't have the strength. They don't have the power. But now you're proving the non-believers are wrong. The believers are right. And I'm so happy that you're here with so many companies. We need your technology. We need your innovation. We need your engineers. You're doing it. It's the best technology. Everybody wants this now. And you have cheap prices. And I like cheap prices. I can buy more, so I need more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry, but it's your timekeeper. Okay. One final question.
Thank you. I'm sorry for following up. My name is Milana Holovanya. I'm Ukrainian journalist for Liga.net. But I have a question. Sorry.
Keep the mic a bit higher.
Sure. Thank you. Is NATO ready to use JTAG initiative, for instance, not to use Ukrainian battlefield experience, but, for instance, to buy Ukrainian software, if we talk about interceptors? Thank you.
Well, of course, I cannot go into all the detail in an open session like this, but I can assure you we have in Poland a center, JTAG, where we capture all the lessons from the war. This is a Ukrainian NATO organization. So Ukraine and NATO organizing that collectively in Poland, the Joint Analysis Training and Education Center, where we capture all the lessons from the war to be able to basically figure that in our own defense plans. and learning from Ukraine, and that means including, when it comes to innovation, the latest technologies, etc. So I cannot get into specific technologies, but more general, you can be assured we take all the lessons. And then to the point Theo was making about the Europeans, I'm proud of what Europe is doing. Take a country like Germany. It will spend in 2029 twice as much on defense as it was spending in 2021. They will spend 153 billion euros in 2029, the same as the French and the Brits combined. But also the French and the Brits are spending more. Belgium is spending more. The Dutch are spending more. We are all spending more. We are really ramping up defense spending. And what I predict, when you have this again next year and the year after and the year after, you will see a NATO which is more and more European-led. And I think that's exactly what the Americans want. They want to stay involved, both conventional and nuclear, but they also want NATO to be more and more European-led. And that's exactly what is happening. But therefore we need the spending and we need you. We need the defense industrial production.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this... but we can conclude the talk, but I think we have a clear message here. There's a lot to do, there's a lot of work to do, but there are a lot of opportunities. So take the opportunity, work together, collaborate, talk with each other. But before I leave you to go out for conversations that hopefully will end up in real collaborations, let me give the floor to a very important end user. Let me give the floor to our Chief of Defense, General Frederik van Sina.
And first of all, let me acknowledge the presence of so many ambassadors, so Your Excellencies, Bill Wright and Matt Whitaker, my friends from the United States, but also so many others here. The generals and admiral, great that you're here, Theo, and of course all the other participants and the men and women in uniform. A really good evening. It's really great to be here. I feel very, very excited. And again, I want to thank Theo and I want to thank Belgium for this first important edition of the Brussels European Defence Exhibition. Today's event, BEDEX, indeed is a premiere, an important event. And indeed, that is, Theo, why it is my second visit today. I spent some time talking to companies at their stands earlier this afternoon. So this evening's dinner gives us the opportunity to continue the conversation, and now we can have that conversation all together. And this is where defense companies, where you as industry leaders, tech firms across Europe and North America come together. It's indeed an impressive show of transatlantic industrial and technological power. And this is exactly what we need in the current times. I want to thank you all for your work and what you're doing, the capabilities you produce, the innovation you bring to the world, and let me say, so much more. It's indispensable for our security now, today, and even more so, I can assure you, in the future. I've had the honor to meet many of you on previous occasions, and I've visited several of your companies. And I believe that maintaining a close dialogue with industry should be one of my top priorities, and I can assure it is one of my top priorities. So I'm really pleased to engage with you here tonight. There is simply no security without strong defense, and there is no strong defense without a strong industry and innovative tech companies. And that is you here in this room. You play a key role to protect our freedom, to protect our security in these dangerous times. And yes, I don't have to explain this to you. I'm preaching to the choir, but let's agree that we are indeed at this moment facing real and lasting dangers. And this is from the Arctic to the Black Sea. It is from outer space to the seabed. It is from missiles and drones to sophisticated cyber attacks. Russia's war against Ukraine is raging on. And now there is the campaign by Israel and the United States in the Middle East to take out the nuclear and the missile capability of Iran. And I think it is crucial that the world becomes safer through this. Our security environment is therefore turbulent, to say the very least. And that is why at NATO we are constantly boosting our deterrence and defense. Last year at the NATO summit in my hometown, The Hague, allies made, as you know, a historic commitment. And it was a substantial effort to invest 5%, I repeat 5% of their GDP annually in defense and security by 2035. And they also agreed to indeed speed up what you are doing, the defense production and the innovation. And I'm glad to say that we are already making visible progress. We are delivering on these commitments. More money is allocated for defense. Europe and Canada are really stepping up. They are taking on a greater share of responsibility for their own security. And those allies, Canada and Europe, are now on a trajectory to equalize their defense spending with the United States. And I think that is only right and that is fair. Some allies like Denmark, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland are already at or even above our investment goals. And they are doing this a decade ahead of schedule. Others are making great strides, like Germany, which is on track. Ambassador, you are sitting at that table. You are, as Germany, on track to double the investment in defense by 2029 from just a few years ago. You will be spending 153 billion euros on defense in 2029. That is more than the French and the British and the Brits combined. And also the French and the Brits are in the process of ramping up their defense spending. So all these countries are leading by example. And I know and I expect more allies to put forward concrete plans for increased investments, and they will do so, no doubt, and will make them do, if necessary, ahead of the next NATO summit in Ankara, which will take place in July this year. But of course, and this is my core message tonight, money doesn't keep us safe. Capabilities do. And that is where you come in, because you produce them. And here too we are making progress. That's the good news. We see factories reopening. We see new factories being built to ensure we deliver the right capabilities at the right time. So in that sense, you could argue we are starting to turn the tide, especially when it comes to ammunition production. So that's good. But hey, and this is the negative news, we are not yet there. We still need to do much more. Because producing more ammunition is of course one thing, but we also need to produce more of the other capabilities. And this includes armored vehicles, tanks, warships, aircraft, cyber and space capabilities, and of course air defense, air defense, air defense. That's an absolute priority. It reflects the current requirements. It reflects the current context. It reflects also, let's be honest, decades of underinvestment in defense. We need, and this is a crazy number, we need 400% increase, a 400% increase in air defense systems. But we are still far from reaching our target. And yet, we see every day in Ukraine and now in the Middle East that aerial threats pose a real and growing danger from advanced missiles to low-cost drones. And that's what we need to prepare for. And you, please, you need to be ready. There must be the capacity to expand our arsenals. So tonight, I want to ask you basically a few things. First of all, I need you to speed up. We don't have the luxury of time to develop and produce more capabilities. We need them now. We need them to be ready tomorrow. Our adversaries and competitors are churning out military equipment around the clock. Look at Russia, which is at the moment basically spending 40% of its state budget on defense, and the whole industrial base in Russia is now producing for the war effort. So we need you to do this around the clock. To stay safe, we must outcompete, outproduce and outsmart not only Russia, but all our adversaries. There's simply no time to waste. Second, people. Please keep on building up your workforces. Look around you. Here at BEDX and in each and every one of your companies. People are the life and the blood of the defense industry. You know this. So to ramp up production, you will also need more people. But this is the fact. A young graduate starting his or her engineering training now will be ready to work in the defense industry only in 2030. So we need to ask ourselves this question. Are we doing enough to attract these young people today so that we are able to produce at pace and scale in the near future? And then the third element, and this is really crucial. The third element is cooperation, and above all, transatlantic cooperation, because this is what NATO is about. Produce and innovate together across Europe, Canada, and the United States. And yes, we absolutely need a stronger and more capable European defense with a re-energized European defense industry. And Europe is stepping up, and that's exactly right. And as a European, I take great pride in that. Over time, NATO will be more and more European-led. But at the same time, we must be realistic and pragmatic when it comes to our security. A continued, strong US presence, both nuclear and conventional, remains imperative. And we rely heavily on some state-of-the-art capabilities using high-end technologies that only the United States produces at scale. So the bottom line is that our defense is strongest when we combine the ideas, the assets, the industry we have across NATO. This, precisely, is our strength. And many of your companies already know what transatlantic cooperation means and the benefits that come from it for your businesses and for your society. Let me just give you a couple of examples. In September 2026, MBDA and RTX, and by the way, good to see you again tonight here, sir, from RTX. In September 26, MBDA and RTX will open the first facility in Europe to manufacture Patriot missiles. And the European defense company, MSM Group, is, And the European company, MSM Group, is constructing a cutting-edge production facility for artillery ammunition in the United States, in Iowa. Starting in 2029, the facility will produce nearly 500,000 rounds per year. And I believe this is the progress we need on both sides of the Atlantic. And we need more of it. From where I stand at NATO, I see evidence of a real shift in mindset when it comes to our security. There's a real unity of vision and unity of action. And there is a real sense of urgency and ownership in how we are working together to deliver effective deterrence and defense. The mindset of our political leaders is shifting. So now it's time for industry to shift too, to produce more, faster, and yes, transatlantic, together. Our security depends on it. So again, thank you very much for what you are doing, and I wish you an excellent event over the coming days. Thank you so much.